So I just want to come up here and remind you again why we're bidding, why we're here tonight, and introduce a young man whose life was transformed by Job Train. I hope you'll welcome Project Build graduate Nestor Flores, who grew up in East Palo Alto, faced many challenges during his life, turned his life around with the help of Job Train. Nestor? Where are you? There you are. Let me stay with you. You okay? Come on. Okay.
I'll do it.
Good.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Nestor Flores, and I am honored to be here, and I'm very happy. As I stand here before you, we are strangers to each other with one thing in common: Job Train. I came to this country as a baby with my mother and father as we fled the civil war that was destroying my country of El Salvador. My parents had great hopes of the American dreams. What better place to achieve that than in California? We live in East Palo Alto, and I remember I wanted to be a policeman. I wanted to protect people and fight the bad guys. But as I was getting older, there were things I experienced that I could not understand. I couldn't understand why my father was never home, why he kept fighting with my mom. My mom and I moved out of East Palo Alto for 2 years, only to come back. My dad came around, but was always drunk, and the arguments would continue. I also noticed that my friends were different and were doing very different things. They were smoking and drinking and wearing certain clothes because of the color and hating anyone who wore clothes of a different color. They were in a gang, and I was learning their way of life. Gang life provided me the family atmosphere I couldn't get at home, and I felt like I belonged. I was willing to do anything for my gang. Serving in the gang introduced me to violence, chaos, and the destruction of my own community. While parents were filing for divorce, they sent me back to El Salvador at the age of 13, and that didn't help. I came back a few months later, and I was even more aggressive and more rebellious, and I continued hanging out in the streets. At the age of 15, when I should have been a freshman in high school, I was incarcerated instead. I did 1 year and got out. I went back and did 4 years. When your life is surrounded by 3 walls and steel bars for 23 hours a day and 365 days a year, that does something. It turns you into an animal, and you lose your human element. In order to survive, you have to serve the whole gang, and that meant I had to be a soldier and carry out orders without prejudice or hesitation. At some point, I had to ask myself if I would ever get tired of being a regular guest of the California correctional system. When I paused to think, a new chapter started in my life, where I struggled to exist in the world I was living in. When I got out, the world was different, and I was exposed to a whole different life. It was a struggle to exist in the world with my animal instincts very much intact. I no longer wanted to be a soldier for someone else, but I wanted to fight for myself. In 2006, my son was born, and a lot of things continued to happen. An attempt was made on my life as my car riddled with bullets. I grabbed my gun and went looking for those who did it. I was pulled over by a cop, and they found my gun. My son was still a baby, and I was looking at some time for many years. I have never prayed in my life, but for some reason, I remember looking to the ceiling. And begging for another chance, and that I would change my life. Somehow, I was not sentenced to serve a very long term. Thanks. Things still weren't perfect, but I continued to struggle with my life, my relationship with my girlfriend, and cocaine. In 2013, I enrolled in the construction program, and I gained skills for the construction industry. This was a turning point for me. I learned to be patient and work hard. I learned what it was like to sacrifice. I walked to job train every day for 4 months of training. I helped other students. I asked questions because I wanted to learn. I learned the fundamentals to build a house, but what I really learned was how to build for my future. I even won the most inspirational award from my instructor, Marty. It surprised me because I wasn't expecting it. And here's a reward that I got. I lost it. In fact, it's the first, to me, it's more than a piece of wood with the inscription on it. It meant that I had done something right for once in my life. It meant that I was able to give back to society after years of taking from society. I was accepted into the union in June of this year, and since then, I have been working at the new Apple campus in Cupertino. I love my job. When I wake up in the morning, I feel sore from the work the day before, but I go to work because my son's future is important to me. I want to give him a better life. The life I threw away. I want him to go to school, to college. And to have a career. And one day his own family. I want to thank my mom, who is here tonight. Mom, I'm sorry for all the heartache I caused you. You loved me even when I was locked up. I want to thank Karen, my GED teacher, for putting up with me. She's also here. She kicked me out of class so many times. I lost count. But she always took me back and encouraged me. I want to thank the job trained staff and board for providing me the opportunity to learn a new trade and to learn about myself. Thank you especially to my carpentry instructor, Marty Mendables. He's not here. Lastly, I want to thank all of you that have supported and continue to support Job Train. I started my speech with us being strangers, but hopefully we have gotten to know each other a little. Your support has helped me get a job and provide for my son's future. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Nestor Flores, ladies and gentlemen.